Well, I think there is enormous pressure that's now been brought on Kosovo in order to try and get some sort of agreement from Pristina for the association. I mean, look, the reality is that as far as most of the members of the European Union, in fact, I'd say that pretty much all of them are concerned, is that they want to get this issue solved. We know what this issue will be solved eventually, how it will be solved. That, I think it's fairly safe to say that the expectation is that Kosovo will eventually be recognised by Serbia, and it will be able to join the United Nations, and in time the European Union. But in order to get there, it's quite clear that a number of steps have got to be taken, and by far the most significant of those is the question of the association. And this is exactly what the European Union and the United States will have been telling the Kosovo government, Prime Minister Kurti, that he can continue being as difficult as he wants, but ultimately, if he wants to ensure that Kosovo gets that full final recognition, it's not going to be something that happens overnight. Then there's got to be some movement on this. At the same time, it's very clear that they will have also been putting a lot of pressure on him, saying, listen, the advantage of doing this is that eventually Kosovo will be recognized. If you don't do it, on the other hand, you are making the situation in the Western Balkans. So I think what we're seeing is probably quite a tough message that's coming out of what we call, yes, the carrots and the sticks. That, the sticks is, if you don't continue to push ahead and reach some sort of agreement, then we will take further action against you. And the carrot is, if you do this, then it makes our job a lot more difficult, a lot easier to go to Belgrade and say, we need to reach a final overarching settlement. Well, of course, Britain's position has changed a little bit as a result of Brexit, of not being part of the European Union. And it's actually been rather noticeable that Britain hasn't been as closely involved, at least publicly, as other countries and as one might have expected. So the recent visit, with the United States, the French, the Germans, the Italians, and omitting Britain was obviously something that I think for some of us was certainly surprising. But I think at a more general level that, we are in a very, very delicate position at the moment in Kosovo, that, that things could take a very nasty turn. And I think it's important that while we're seeing a lot of the key actors in the region that have been very careful in what they say, that they're trying to hold fire on any decisions or making any accusations until they've got the clearest possible picture, it is very tempting for some people to step out and say, well, this is what I think, and I blame it on this side, or I blame it on that side. That doesn't help matters. That I think it's important to try and just keep things calm and until we've got a better idea, and not jump to these conclusions. And I think that on the whole, what we've been seeing from the European Union, from key members of the European Union, from the British government and from the United States has actually been trying to take that line and recognize where the problems really lie before acting. And so I would hope that all officials, people with any sort of position of responsibility will be trying to do that rather than play to a particular audience, which I think is extremely unhelpful at the moment.